Well, we're back once again. It's Friday. That means time for our political roundtable of the week. And what a week it has been. We have watched the governor take aim and do battle with the court system and also with the teachers once again. And of course, we're coming up on the legislative elections in the not too distant future. So who better to speak about that with than Christine Kelly, professor of political science at Paterson University and head of the American Democracy Project, and Patrick Murray, director of the Polling Institute at Monmouth University. Good of you both come on in. When we watch this week unfold, you know, we're kind of, the governor's flirtation with the presidency is fading away a couple of weeks now. Yet the intensity of his words when it comes to doing battle with the courts or the teachers seems to be rather strong. Are you surprised by that?
Oh, I'm not surprised by it. I think that the governor's posture has, since the beginning of his governorship, has been one in which it can be characterized as a kind of a showdown with the public sector. I think the rhetoric has largely been that many of New Jersey's problems can be solved by disciplining, cutting the public sector. And so I'm not surprised. I'm concerned because
do you think it's an effective way to govern? I mean, you can get attention, and you can, I guess.
It's a different way to govern.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's absolutely juxtaposed against the Corzine administration was an entirely different way of trying to get everybody together and get everybody to like you. I mean, so we're seeing diametrically opposed styles here. So it's hard to say. So which one is better?
Politicians, though, you know, they're almost as good as pollsters in terms of putting their fingers up and sensing where the wind is blowing.
You know what?
This must be working for him if he keeps doing it, right?
He does. He is good at that. Yeah. And so you might, I mean, individuals might have an issue with his personal,
You're not saying I have an issue with it.
No, how far he goes.
One might have an issue
how
with it,
far
yes.
he goes with this. But I just wrote a column recently, basically about some of the things that he said and done recently, which show that he really understands what's driving public opinion right now, what the public are frustrated about.
So this is more than just venting. This is
he understands it. Now you might disagree that the way he taps into it, but this guy knows what is driving public opinion, and he has his own idea about how he can control that and use that.
You disagree with what he's saying, or you disagree with the way he's going about it?
I disagree. I think that the governor is playing a very risky game, and you know the polls may indicate certain that he has some support. But I think if we really push this logic, his logic to its final conclusion, what we see is that there are many New Jerseyans, many of whom need to be brought into the political process, into the electoral process, who are really suffering. These are lean, mean times for many New Jerseyans. And this constant barrage of assaults on the public sector, teachers, firefighters, policemen, and judges, ultimately is an attack on the commonweal. And I think it's going to start taking its toll in the electorate.
Are there enough of them around to matter politically to the governor, or are they convenient targets for him?
I think the governor has a stake in and we saw this with his electoral coalition in 2009, with a low voter turnout and a limited electoral turnout.
That's true. That's true of every politician. Quite frankly, you know, we have low voter turnout. We're going to have I predict the lowest voter turnout ever in this upcoming legislative race.
Really?
Lowest ever.
With all of the anger, with all of the issues?
It's going to be below 30%, and that has a lot of reason. Has a lot to do with the fact that there really isn't any choices for voters when they go to the polls. But whether you disagree with Governor Christie as a person, and I'm not here to judge whether Governor Christie or what his policy positions.
That's not what I said.
Governor Christie understands that there is an underlying frustration in the public with government. It's the same the frustration that bore the Tea Party also bore Occupy Wall Street. The different views, but it comes out of the same general frustration that government is not looking out for the people.
So
and that's his tactic.
He's the insider fighting against the system?
Exactly. That's the way he decided that he wanted to go about it and that he could tap into public. This is why the national Republican Party came after him, because there's a sense that he has tapped onto it. It's why his approval rating in New Jersey went up when he went national.
Answer me this then. If that's the case, then he should be inspiring his troops to get out there and give him a legislature.
He turns off as many people as he attracts to his side with the way he goes about it.
You can't have it both ways. Either he's popular broadly or he benefits from a limited electoral coalition. And I think he benefits from a limited electoral coalition because really the issues and the agenda he's pursuing don't really speak to the kinds of suffering that most New Jerseyans are really experiencing right now. So I think the logic, he does captivate a frustration, but that government, that the public sector, that the public safety net, that the common weal is the problem, I think is a logic that will run thin. And I think if we, watched the Democrats put together a more effective response, a different narrative to help explain the problems, we would see more competition between the parties and a broader turnout. I think they've been
Well, they've been working. I mean, the Democratic leadership has been working with Governor Christie. I mean, Governor Christie, it's interesting because Governor Christie has gone about, attacking a lot of people. He's also attacked Steve Sweeney and Sheila Oliver, the leaders of the legislature, which I don't think is very smart, although we'll see how long that lasts, is because he needs them more than they need him in terms of the career-wise.
Well,
I mean, Chris Christie would not be Chris Christie today, the national figure, if it weren't for Steve Sweeney and Sheila Oliver.
Well, nobody passes the bills; they don't become part of the agenda.
I mean, that's the deal. I mean, he gets all the credit for ideas. Many of those ideas were Steve Sweeney's to begin with, but Governor Christie gets the credit for passing those things. The issue here in New Jersey is that New Jersey voters, or any voter, looks at each office that they're voting for with different ideas in mind about what they should be doing. And so, jobs and the economy are the #1 issue in the country, and that's what the national government should be focusing on. But every time we poll about the issues in New Jersey, when we ask people what the state government should be focused on, it's in lowering property taxes.
Which was an issue before he became governor.
And it became the biggest issue.
And will be
as
well.
And that could be the issue in 2013 for him in a re-election.
And we have to leave it then, but to be continued. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it.